So the first thing we're going to do is look through the questions so that while we're reading the article, we know what we're looking for. Number 1, what does civil rights mean in America? Number 2, what did the Naturalization Act of 1790 say? Number 3, what did the Dred Scott decision do? Number 4, when did Native Americans receive citizenship? And then if you go down to 5 and 6, those will be the ones that we will use evidence for. But 5 is explain what changes were made over the course of time in the United States in regard to civil rights. And then number 6 is why do civil rights matter? So we will just, as we're reading through the article, look and see if you can find any of those answers. Okay, so this is the what are civil rights? What does civil rights mean to Americans? As stated in the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This statement explains the rights of all Americans. The rights of people in a society are defined by the government, with input from its citizens. For the purpose of these discussions, civil rights are those rights guaranteed to individuals as citizens of a nation, regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, physical, mental ability, or sexual preference. However, not all people are able to exercise their rights as Americans. This is true both today and in the past. Okay, we're going to come over here, and you need to put a comment about what we just read. So if you need to, pause this and put your comment. Okay, moving on. A free white person of good character. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence stated that the United States was its own country and no longer under the British rule. In 1789, the newly formed U.S. government approved the Constitution. It explained the rights of its citizens. It also formalized the segregation of Native Americans and people of African descent. A year later, Congress passed the Naturalization Act of 1790. It stated that to become a U.S. citizen, a person must be a free white person of good character, living in the United States for 2 years. People born in the United States to fathers born in the United States or who had become citizens officially were citizens. Women could be citizens but were unable to vote in the majority of states. Women also had limited rights to own property, particularly if they were married. The country's growth to the west introduced new groups to the civil rights discussion. The Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo, I'm not sure, in 1848 promised U.S. citizenship rights to Mexicans who were in the United States after the Mexican-American War. However, their property rights and participation in the political process were legally erased. So let's go over here and comment. What did you just learn in those last few paragraphs? Okay. Go. Oops. I did not want to do that. Sorry, guys. Okay. New law takes away rights for African Americans. The Chinese population in the United States also experienced much of the same discriminatory treatment. The Chinese population had become an important part of Western mining towns and as labor for the railroads. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 denied citizenship to the Chinese, even though they helped develop one-third of the nation. The Dred Scott decision in 1857 took away civil rights for African Americans by legally denying them any claim of citizenship. This left free and enslaved African Americans, Chinese Americans, Mexican Americans, and Native Americans segregated in a growing nation. The passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution in the late 1800s gave citizenship to many of these groups. Many minorities were granted the same rights as the rest of society. Native Americans, though, were not given citizenship until 1924. Social practices, policies, and laws had created barriers to their rights as citizens. So we're going to come down here and comment on what we just read. Okay. Citizenship does not ensure rights. However, Jim Crow laws beginning in the 1880s legalized segregation between blacks and whites. These and other laws undermined the amendments that granted equal rights for citizens. Groups that gained citizenship found that their rights denied or simply ignored. In 1920, a law was passed giving women the right to vote, but it did not provide equal rights. For African Americans, Latinos, and Asians, becoming or being born U.S. citizens did not ensure these rights. Minority groups had to fight for the rights they had been granted on paper, but didn't actually have in their daily lives. For these reasons, the fight for civil rights is generally referred to as a civil rights struggle. Over time, discriminated groups of Americans have expanded. Today, they also include lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transsexual people and disabled people. The civil rights struggle has gone from being an issue of equal treatment for all races to the issue of equal treatment for all groups. Okay, let's go right here and comment. Okay, now we will go down here to the questions. Okay, so on our questions, what does civil rights mean in America? If we scroll all the way back up to the top, it says, what does civil rights mean to America? And then it literally has this whole statement of what the rights were. And it says this statement explains the rights of all Americans. So you need to read through the statement and then comment. Don't copy and paste, but comment what you got out of that statement, what civil rights means. Okay? Then, number 2, what did the Naturalization Act of 1790 say? That word is hard to say for me. Okay, Congress passed the Naturalization Act of 1790. It stated that to become a U.S. citizen, a person must be a free white person of good character, living in the United States for 2 years. And then people born in the United States to fathers born in the United States or who had become citizens officially were citizens. Women could be citizens but were unable to vote in the majority of states. Women also had limited rights to own property, particularly if they're married. So that right there tells you what the Citizen or Naturalization Act of 1790 is, okay? So again, you need to come down here and in your own words, put what it says. Because it says answers may be in phrases. So you don't necessarily have to have it go crazy, but put what it says right there. What did the Dred Scott decision do? Dred Scott decision. Let's go up here. Oh, hold on. Where did I see that? Maybe it was higher up. Right there. The Dred Scott decision in 1857 took away civil rights for African Americans by legally denying them any claim of citizenship. Okay, this left free and enslaved African Americans, Chinese Americans, Mexican Americans, and Native Americans segregated in a growing nation. So again, you got to put that in your own words down here. Okay, what did Native Americans, or when did Native Americans receive citizenship? Okay, let's go up here. If you see it before me, you can go down and, oh, right there, Native Americans, though, were not given citizenship until 1924. Okay. Okay, explain what changes were made over the course of time in the United States in regards to civil rights. Okay, what were the changes? Okay, so when it started for this, right? As far as, or sorry, I'm in the wrong spot. It started as this. Okay, this was what the Independence said, or the Declaration of Independence. So it started as that. Then in let's see, in 1790 they changed it a little bit. Okay, then so if you see the different years, But right here, the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, they changed, many minorities were granted the same rights as the rest of society. Okay, so as the years went on, you can see that it changed. So you're just going to put how it changed and then copy and paste and put your reasoning behind that. Okay, number 6, what do civil rights, or why do civil rights matter? Okay, so you need to put, it says explain your thoughts and use evidence from the text. So you need to explain why any of this matters. Why does it matter that we have civil rights? Why does it matter that we are supposed to have the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Why does that matter to you? And then you put your comments on there. So put comments on there, and then you can also, when it says evidence from the text, so like this civil rights struggle has gone from being an issue of equal treatment for all races to an issue of equal treatment for all groups. So if you didn't have civil rights, like why would it matter? So find something in there and put your thoughts and then what your comment is.